You know, I once thought I had a career in football, but hey, we know where my life is in now.
Yeah, I actually thought I did as well. In fact, I was a very good footballer.
You were?
Yeah, very, very good.
We always say that.
You know, I was inspired by the late Rashidi.
Tell me about it.
All I wanted to be was a footballer, actually. Then it wasn't just for the money. I just loved the excitement that comes with the sports. And but, you know, I started getting injuries too early, and I chose a new path.
So you hung your boot?
Yeah, I hung my boot.
I'll challenge you to a match very soon.
Let's see how that plays out eventually.
So essentially we're talking football. Yes, it's the biggest game. We love our football here in Nigeria. And it's just about 10 days now to the AFCON, the Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. And there's been a lot happening in that space. To break it down for us, give us some more insight, we have joining us a veteran sports journalist, publisher, Sports Village Square, Mr. Kunle Solaja. He's right here in our Lagos studio. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah. Morning brief.
I'm pleased to be here again.
Absolutely. So, the elephant in the room. We'll talk about the AFCON and the Super Eagles and the rest. But yesterday it turned out that, you know, Nigerians might not be watching the games the way they used to before with the rights and all of that. DSTV reported to have made that announcement that, well, when it comes to AFCON, it looks like we're stepping off. I wonder for you, how did you receive that, and were you heartbroken? What are the options available for us now?
Personally, I wasn't too surprised, and I wouldn't say I was heartbroken, because especially since DSTV itself announced that it will not be showing the matches, which means it lost out in the bargaining for the broadcast right for the African Cup of Nations. But coming too close to the competition may be heartbroken to people, because by now we are, like if you talk about the World Cup, almost 1 year to the kickoff of the World Cup, everything is already wrapped up. So you know where to watch and when to watch. But since this is still Africa, we are still developing. So we hope that between now and the 9 days when the competition will kick off, they will resolve that. But certainly there will be some free-to-air broadcast where people can actually watch the proceedings.
Because I was just thinking, should we just go to Cote d'Ivoire and go watch the matches live?
Just get the next flight.
It was heartbreaking for a lot of people, and you'll understand why, as you said. But I don't know, for you, does it speak to, is it the viability of the sport? I don't know, is it the politics? Because this is the biggest tournament in Africa. This is as big as it gets in Africa. We have the top teams playing, the top African players playing. So you'll understand that all eyes will be on that tournament. So do you have a backstory to that? Is it the viability, the politics, or what exactly?
No, certainly the competition is getting bigger and bigger. You remember some years back, you just have 3-4 teams, then it became standardized with 8 teams, Group A, Group B, then it expanded to 12. We have Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D. Then from 12, it moved to 16, at least for 3 editions running now, it has become 24-team format. So that shows that the competition is getting bigger. And when the issue of marketing rights, broadcast rights come up, it also shows how big the competition is becoming. You remember the last Women's World Cup, the issue of marketing was a big issue. That FIFA even at a point decided that, okay, whether you like it or not, we go on with the competition. And that competition happened to have yielded the highest purse for women footballers. So we hope that it is in the same line that the African Cup of Nations is moving. So from being at this critical situation, they may just be able to break even and be able to have a good bargaining right, in which case broadcast will be more liberalized and it will be a win-win for all parties concerned, the broadcast stations and CAF, the owners of the competition.
All right, let's get to the nitty-gritty of the competition itself. So I think we have about Group A to F or more. So six groups, yes. Yeah. I'm just giving it in terms of the alphabets now. Yeah. And I see that well, our concern is Nigeria.
Yeah.
Our biggest concern. Group A. We may talk about other groups, but let's start with the one that concerns us the most. So we have Ivory Coast, which is the host nation, Equatorial Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, and Nigeria in this particular group. I know you're a pundit and you understand how these things play out. Given the history of this tournament. Some people have said that, look, it's going to be a lot of rivalry between Nigeria and, of course, Cote d'Ivoire in this particular group. But this is football. It's 90 minutes, 11 players playing against 11 players. Anything can happen. What are our chances within the group stage?
In normal situation, just like you said, it should have been Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire as the top horses in that group. But if you look at unfolding scenario, anything can happen. As a matter of fact, as we are talking now, the match tickets for the Nigeria-Cote d'Ivoire match, which is our second match in the series, is already sold out. Because that is the crunch match of that group. So, but ordinarily, one could have just said either Nigeria or Cote d'Ivoire will top that group and go straight into the next round, the round of 16. But we cannot be too sure of that, considering, especially for our own team. Cote d'Ivoire, they may be able to, at least they have the crowd behind them, and they probably have a better understanding of the game, sorry to use that word, than Nigeria.
How do you mean? I'm curious. How do you mean?
Yeah. If you look at the last 6 matches of the Super Eagles, it has not been inspiring. 6 matches, only 1 win, and that 1 win was just by the odd goal, the friendly match against Mozambique. So, and if you now look at the other matches, we drew all those matches, and we have in Africa today, and like even the African Footballer of the Year award had indicated, we have probably the best attacker right now in Africa. Not just in Victor Osimhen, we have an array of players that can deliver. But in a competition like this, how you employ and deploy your troop really matters. When you have good front line, if you don't give them the right instruction on how to combine, you just discover that you are just playing at the loose end. Because, for instance, you look at an Osimhen, he's a point man. It's not somebody to go and struggle for the ball. You need people who are going to be the support strikers, those who are going to supply the passes to him, just like in the days of Rachidi Yekini. Rachidi Yekini will never go back and struggle for the ball. But he has a good sense of positional football, and he has pace, he has energy, and he has the power behind him. So all he just needed is just to be placed, and before you know it, 1-2 touches of the ball is in the net.
So just so that you continue in that line of thought, so maybe expand it to help us analyze our strengths and our weaknesses as far as this team is concerned. They are training already, they are getting ready. A couple of them have been invited. Some we've heard like they will not be making it to the tournament. It will be replaced by Yusuf and all of that. So what are our strengths and our weakness as far as this tournament is concerned? Because if we don't do that SWOT analysis or all of that, we're going to have issues.
Well, the strength of that team is the attack line, and probably supported by the midfield. But no matter what they do, we have the weakest point in our defense. We have goalkeeping problems, which is very, very rare in this country as far back as I have been following football. In the 80s, in the 70s, we never had that problem. We have the Fregenes. After their phase ended, we have Okala, Best Ogidegbe. Then we have Peter Rufai and co. And up to 2002, when Vincent Iyama came in, and I think he probably the longest the goalkeeper that has served us longest. And from 2002 to 2015, when he was eased out of the team, I think we just had 3 goalkeepers, himself being the main goalkeeper. Then you have Ejide coming in occasionally, and then we have Dele, the man from Kwara State, as an alternate keeper. But all along, it's been this one. But that's for a period of 13 years. We have just 3 goalkeepers, and one of them very dominant. But if you now look from 2015 till now, look at the period, we've had about 8 goalkeepers. We've not had one that we can stick to and say, okay, this is the main man. That's a tragedy of Nigerian football.
Where is that failure coming from?
The failure is overall. The coaches are not doing their work well. The administrators are not doing their work well. The technical department is not doing its work well. For instance, now the team is training now in Abu Dhabi. You ask yourself, did you sit down to look at what you are going to do, where you are going to do this thing, and where you are going to train? You are coming. This is a hot period now in West Africa. These players are based in Europe. It's winter in Europe. They moved from that winter in Europe to Abu Dhabi. January is the coolest month in Abu Dhabi, and that's why tourism is at the highest in Abu Dhabi in January. Now from that cool environment, you come back to the hot zone in West Africa. That is a key to a monumental failure, because the players' mental alertness, if I follow up from the previous conversation here, will be affected. To come from a cold region into a cool region and then come to a hot region, because the climate here in Abidjan, where they play at least their first 3 matches, and that of Lagos are the same. It could have been better for the team to become in anywhere in Nigeria. They can get a secluded area. But the same thing we did in 2010, South Africa 2010. We were training in Europe, in UK, summer. And that period, it is winter. If you understand geography well, below the equator, there's a change of climatic situation. So as at that time, June, July, it is the peak of winter in South Africa. We were in UK. The only place in South Africa that is warm all year round is Durban. That is where we put our own camp. England, playing in the same World Cup, left England and moved northward to Norway, to Sweden, where it will be cold, so that they will have acclimatized before getting. But here we are training in a cool region in Abu Dhabi.
Lots of questions you have raises, and I imagine that the Federation might want to speak to this. What are the reasons for choosing Dubai? Is it financial related? Is it some sort of partnership? Was it well thought of, essentially, as you have raised? So I do hope that it can be more clarification from that. But looking at the tournament proper, indeed is out, as you said. A lot of people have issues even with the team itself before it was pruned down to the final. Is it 25?
25 instead of 27.
Instead of 27. A lot of people have issues with the makeup of that team, which we might not get into because of time. But the last time we won the World Cup, a lot of people didn't think that
the Africa Cup of Nations, actually.
Africa Cup of Nations.
I'm prophesying. The Africa Cup of Nations, thank you very much. A lot of people didn't think we were going to win that. I don't know if you were one of the people that thought we'll win, but majority of people thought, no, we're not giving Super Eagles a chance. But we eventually won. So this time, do you think we can make top 3? Win this tournament? What chances do you give us?
Going back to that 2013, I was one of the few that actually prophesied that we were going to win, in spite of the composition of the team, a blend of some home-based players with a focused home-based coach and sprinkling of players from abroad. I said, if you follow our trend very well in the African nations, we always start very slowly. You can recall the first 2 matches were drawn. So they struggled to win the last match of the group against Ethiopia, 2 late penalty kicks. And that gave us qualification as second place in that group, behind Zambia, before we now met Cote d'Ivoire. So that element of surprise may be there. But this time around, when you have, for instance, if any goalkeeper they use, the goalkeeper is already psychologically drained. They need a lot of mental alertness. Even if the goalkeeper is doing well in his club, the fact that all eyes will be on the goalkeeping department of the Super Eagles is enough to put pressure
on the goalkeeper.
And with Uzo has lost confidence in himself.
Maybe he has regained it. We hope to God that he has regained it.
We hope
he has regained it.
Well, the last two matches didn't indicate that.
Exactly. And we hope they have good psychologists in the team. And maybe for his club as well, that can help him with that mental health, which we talked about earlier on. Because Nigerians, yes, they don't take it easy with the goalkeepers, but that doesn't mean, I mean, we've had Iyama, we've had all of these great goalkeepers. So I think Nigerians can also maybe change this time and support
but probably they should also, you can flip it. They can also look at this as an opportunity to, you know, for all the naysayers and all the doubters, prove them wrong by just stepping up and doing better. I know pundits may not really agree because they are very technical and analytical, but thank you so much, sir.
Do you think Super Eagles will win? Yes or
no? I cannot say they will win the competition, but they will go past the group stage. Fair. And if we do win, it's, I mean, Ahmed Musa and Kenneth Omeru will be the first set of Nigerians to have 2 gold medals from the African Nations Cup.
Let's just say amen. Players. Let's just say amen to that.
So looking forward to getting that cup, I guess.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's a cup.
Mr. Kunle Solaja, veteran sports journalist, publisher, Sports Village Score. Thank you so much for your time. We'll have you back when the Super Eagles win the World Cup.
You always say the World Cup.
The African Cup of Nations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Well, we'll go to a quick one now. When we return, we're going across the country to give you what's going on with the fuel situation. Is it truly 1,200 naira? Even though the NNPCL said that's not true. Our correspondents are standing by live for you, and that's in a moment. Stay with us on the Morning Brief.